So welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. What I have for you guys today is going to be my Championship Week 9 score predictions. I'm very interested to see what you guys are saying for this weekend's predictions, really. Unfortunately for us, next week we do have an international break, which isn't the best of news, but even so, coming up this weekend, we got some big games to predict. So I'm sure by now all of you guys are aware of how this series works. In the description down below, I'll leave all the fixtures, so you guys can easily go ahead and get your score predictions in, and then if you do successfully manage to get any of your predictions correct, then your comment will be included into the next video. And so without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into my score predictions. And so for our first game to predict this weekend, we got Leeds United going up against Brentford as the early kickoff on Saturday, and I am really looking forward to this game. It's got the potential to be an absolute cracker. With how both these sides like to play football, I'm expecting it to be a really expansive, open game, end to end, with both teams having a lot of chances. Brentford at the moment in the Championship, not particularly on the best run of form. They've not picked up a win in any of the last 4 games in the Championship. However, the way they're still playing, is very promising. They're creating a lot of chances, just perhaps haven't been as clinical lately as they have been in previous weeks, and a couple of defensive mistakes seeping into their game. Going up against Leeds is never going to be an easy task, with them currently still sat top of the Championship. One player I've got to give a shout out to with Leeds at the moment is their striker, Tyler Roberts. Only 19 years old. He's led the line absolutely superbly for Leeds so far, with the absence of Kamar Roof and Patrick Bamford, with both of them out injured. The finish he had in midweek against Hull City was absolutely fantastic, and Leeds are playing with confidence at the moment. Click also in midfield, absolutely exceptional performances he's putting in, week out, and this one is on the knife edge. It could go either way, but with how Leeds are playing at the moment, it wasn't necessarily the best performance they put in midweek, but they're getting the results at the moment. It's a high pressing game, and this one will be an interesting one to watch, but I will back Leeds for a 2-1 home victory, and FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Leeds. Then we see Birmingham going up against Rotherham United. So far this season, we've already seen Birmingham draw 8 out of 11 Championship matches, which is absolutely baffling. So they'll be going into this game targeting all 3 points, because they really do need to turn some of those draws into wins now if they are going to want to push up the Championship. But nevertheless, the performances from Birmingham this season, you can tell that all the Birmingham players want to play for Gary Monk, and he's sort of been able to install a mentality into this season, that sort of never say die attitude. Going up against Rotherham United, who have been quite tricky customers this season. Their away form hasn't always been the best, but even so, I do think they'll give Birmingham a good game in this one. I anticipate their game plan to be quite similar to the one they employed against Nottingham Forest when they played them away. Rotherham looked to sit quite deep in that one with 2 banks of 4, didn't let Forest have a lot of space in behind, and I do think they could frustrate Birmingham for large parts of this game. And with Birmingham being quite wasteful with their chances sometimes, it wouldn't even surprise me if this was to finish as a 0-0 draw. But with how Birmingham are playing at the moment, I am going to back them for a 1-0 home victory over Rotherham, whereas FIFA's going to say it'll be 2-0 Birmingham. And then we got Middlesbrough going up against Nottingham Forest. Quite a tough game to call this one, in my opinion, with Middlesbrough currently sat 2nd in the Championship and on quite a good run of form at the moment, that you can't really rule them out of this game. Going up against Nottingham Forest, who have been quite a hard side to predict so far this season. They are having quite a similar problem to Birmingham at the moment. They're drawing too many games in the Championship, already drawing 7 games this season. They've only lost 1, but so many games they're drawing at the moment. Their last game in midweek, a 2-2 draw against Millwall, not the greatest of performances from Forest, and at one point in that game, they did find themselves 2-0 up, but they gave away that 2-goal lead in the end, and it finished as a 2-2 draw. So they're going to want to put that behind them as soon as possible, but going away to Middlesbrough isn't going to be an easy task. Middlesbrough's defence so far this season has been absolutely impenetrable at times. They've only gone ahead and conceded 4 goals so far this season, which is absolutely staggering. Their midfield has also been fantastic lately. Adam Clayton and Johnny Howson both working with each other very well at the moment. But for a prediction for this one, I'm going to say it'll finish as a 1-1 draw. I don't think there'll be too much in that game. FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Forest. Then for our next encounter, we see Millwall going up against Aston Villa, and this is one game which I'm really excited to see what you guys are predicting for it. With Millwall drawing their game in midweek, a 2-2 draw against Nottingham Forest, I actually thought it was a very good performance from the away side, really. They came back from 2 goals down, and with Millwall so far this season, we've seen a lot of times they played well for sort of 30-minute patches, and they've gone ahead and thrown it out the window. But with that encouraging 2-2 draw with Forest in midweek, they'll be hoping to pick up a bit of momentum now in the Championship. Going up against Aston Villa, who have recently sacked their manager Steve Bruce after a 3-3 draw with my side Preston North End in midweek, which was just an absolutely baffling game. We spoke about it a bit in the previous video. It will be interesting to see what sort of Aston Villa side does turn up for this one. Steve Bruce has only been gone for a couple of days, so we're not expecting, a totally different team from Aston Villa going into this one. But it'll be interesting to see how they are set up in general. But it's a tough one to call because you never really know what reaction you're going to get from the players when the manager has just been sacked. So I think I'll sit on the fence for this one and say it will finish as a 1-1 draw. Villa have definitely got the quality in their squad to be going out and getting all 3 points in this game, but where their squad mentality is at the moment, I'm not so sure. So I'll say 1-1. FIFA's going to say it'll be 2-0 Villa. Then we see Norwich going up against Stoke City. Norwich at the moment still one of the best form sides in the Championship. Currently sat 5th in the table. They picked up a very good away draw in midweek against Derby County, and they'll be looking to continue this unbeaten run going up against Stoke City, especially with how Stoke have defended in recent times. Norwich will be wanting to put the pressure on that back line from minute one. Although Stoke did pick up a clean sheet in midweek against Bolton Wanderers, the defence wasn't really tested too much in this one, especially not to the extent that I expect Norwich to go at Stoke in this game this weekend. So it's an interesting one. I do see quite a few goals being scored in this game. Both teams have got goals in them, there's no doubt about that. Timu Pukki at the moment for Norwich City, absolutely fantastic, on a really good run of form for them at the moment. Some of their midfielders also servicing him very well at the moment. And Stoke City, you know, their quality is undoubtable. I'll back it to finish as a 2-2 draw, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be a 1-1 draw. And then next up we see my team Preston then going up against Wigan Athletic. And I'm not going to lie, I am quite nervous going into this game. With Preston still sat bottom of the Championship, we really do need a win now in this game, going into an international break next weekend to just lift everything around the club really. With our 3-3 draw in midweek against Aston Villa, if we take the positives from that second half performance, we really should be taking the game to Wigan in this one. Wigan so far this season haven't been the best away from home, you know, scoring goals away has seemingly been a bit of a problem for them, but with our leaky defence, you know, we've already conceded 24 goals this season in the Championship. We've got the worst defensive record. We're going to fancy their chances for this one, and with a target man up front like Joe Garner, who's going to love tussling with our defenders, that does worry me a little bit because defending crosses this season has been our main weakness, and with a player who's got the jumping ability of Joe Garner, that is a concern going into this game. But I do think quite a few goals will be scored in this one. I just really want us to win this game, you know. It will set us up well going into the international break, and hopefully we may even see Shirley Maguire on the bench for this game. But for a prediction, I'm going to say it'll finish as a 2-2 draw. Going forward, we're playing with a lot of confidence at the moment, but our defence is still very shoddy. So I'll say 2-2. FIFA's going to say it'll be 1-0 Preston. Then next up we see QPR going up against Derby County. Two sides who you never really know what you're going to get from them, you know. A couple of weeks ago when we saw Derby beat Brentford by 3-1, that was an absolutely astounding performance by Derby County, but their two following performances in the Championship, following up from that game against Brentford, haven't really lived up to those expectations. If they do get back to that formula against QPR in this game, I'm expecting them to score quite a few goals, because QPR's defence, when you do put it under pressure, you know, the cracks do start to appear there. But even so, QPR can be a tricky customer on their day, especially playing at home at Loftus Road. They make quite a tight pitch there. I'm sure that all the Derby fans are buzzing with Mason Mount getting his England call up, which is, I mean, fair play to him. He's been fabulous for Derby so far this season, but he'll be wanting to turn it on for this game against QPR. And for a prediction, I am just going to back Derby for a 2-1 away victory. If they do play to their maximum potential, they should be getting all 3 points from this game, but even so, you never really know what you're going to get from QPR. But I'll say 2-1 Derby. FIFA's going to say 1-0 QPR. Then we see Sheffield United going up against Hull City. Even though Sheffield United are currently sat 3rd in the Championship, I don't think that many people have been talking about them. They've sort of gone under the radar this season, you know. At the top of the Championship, a lot of people have been talking about the likes of Leeds, Middlesbrough and West Brom. No one's really been mentioning Sheffield United, but their performances of late have been absolutely fantastic. And going up against this Hull side who have been struggling of late, they've not won the game in their last 4, currently just sat above the relegation zone. Sheffield United really could go to town in this one. Scoring goals hasn't been a problem for Sheffield United so far this season, with them averaging about scoring 2 goals per game. Going up against this Hull defence, who has been quite leaky this season, they've already conceded 18 goals. It's going to be an interesting battle, and I do see this Sheffield United attack putting that Hull defence under a bit of pressure. Hull have got players on the counter-attack who could hurt them, but even so, with the run that Sheffield United are currently on, within their last 3 games in the Championship, I'm going to back them for all 3 points in this one with a 3-1 home victory, whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 2-0 Sheffield United. Then we see Swansea City going up against Ipswich Town, and Ipswich still in the position where they've not won a Championship game so far, and going into an international break next week, they're really going to want to get something from this game away at Swansea, but it's not going to be an easy game for them. Swansea in their last game in the Championship, drawing 0-0 with Wigan Athletic, probably could have gone to get all 3 points in that one. They found themselves a bit frustrated, but looking back to the game they had at the weekend, a 3-0 home victory against QPR, I thought they were absolutely absolutely ruthless in that game. Some of their build-up play for some of their goals was absolutely exquisite. It was looking like a Swansea City side from a couple of years ago in the Premier League. Their build-up play was absolutely fantastic. I think for one of the goals they scored, they had about 30 passes or so in the build-up. So if they are going to bring that into this game, I don't think Ipswich will be able to live with. With some basic errors sneaking into this Ipswich defence lately, I've got to be backing Swansea for all 3 points in this one. So first score prediction, I am going to back Swansea for a 2-0 home victory. Whereas FIFA's saying it'll be 1-0 Swansea. Then next up we see West Brom going up against Reading. West Brom were involved in a very dramatic game in midweek. They found themselves 2-0 down at half-time against Sheffield Wednesday, but they did manage to bring it back to 2-2 and rescue a point from that game in the end. I've said it in most of my videos so far, but I think that most sides fear the West Brom attack. In 11 championship games, they've already been able to score 27 goals, which is absolutely astounding. Really, it is only their defence at times which has let them down. You know, they made a couple sloppy decisions lately, but even so, going up against this Reading side, not going to be the easiest job in the world. Before their loss against QPR in midweek, I thought that Reading were building up a decent bit of momentum in the championship and definitely got pace going forward. I think they'll look to play on the counter-attack for this one, and I do see quite a few goals being scored in this game, but with the attacking prowess of West Brom, I've got to be backing them for all 3 points. The White Girl's been in fantastic form. Jay Rodriguez also been very good lately, and Harvey Barnes playing as that number 10 has been absolutely phenomenal. He had a great game against Sheffield Wednesday. So for this game, I'm going to back West Brom for a 3-2 home victory, whereas FIFA's going to say it'll be a 1-1 draw. Then as the evening kick-off on Saturday, we see Bolton Wanderers going up against Blackburn Rovers, and this game does have the potential to be quite a spicy encounter, really. With the way that both sides like to set up, I think it will probably be Bolton who do set up that tad bit more defensive with how Phil Parkinson likes to approach these sort of games. Blackburn at the moment playing with quite a bit of confidence going forward with the partnership that Bradley Dack and Danny Graham have been able to strike up this season, playing off each other very well. They obviously offer a goal threat, but Bolton can't be really wrote off. The game they had in midweek was a bit of a disappointment, really, losing 2-0 away to Stoke City. With how Stoke have been defensively this season, I was a bit disappointed that Bolton didn't go for it a bit more into that game. But even so, this game really is on the knife edge, and I don't see too much being in it between these two sides. And for a prediction, I'm going to say it'll finish as a 1-1 draw. And for this game, FIFA is going to agree with me. And then for our last game, we got the Sunday game going on between Bristol City and Sheffield Wednesday. Both sides currently sat on 16 points in the championship, so this one really could go either way. And Adam Reach at the moment for Sheffield Wednesday just needs to calm down. He is scoring banger after banger after banger. Another one in midweek against West Brom, absolutely superb finish from him, and he's really playing with confidence at the moment. So Bristol City really do need to watch out for that in this game. Bristol City at the moment not on the best run of form in the championship, but you never really know what you're going to get from them. You know, we can see Bristol City play absolutely phenomenal for about 45 minutes, and then the next one they seem to have a bit of a collapse. So you never really know what you're going to get from Bristol City. Both sides have got goals in them, so I'm expecting quite an open game in this one as well. And with both sides having quite a bit of attacking prowess to go into this game with, it could go either way, but I do have a feeling about Sheffield Wednesday in this one, so I will just back them for a slim 2-1 away victory. That game is going to be a really intriguing one. Could go either way. I'll say 2-1 Wednesday. FIFA's going to say 2-0 Bristol City. Well guys, there you have it. There are my Championship Week 9 score predictions. So as always, I'm very interested to see what you guys are saying this weekend. So as always, all this weekend's fixtures will be listed in the description down below, so you guys can easily go ahead and make your score predictions. But like I said, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you did go in to enjoy, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.